would like to call this meeting to order, Howell Township Council regular meeting on June 15th, 2021, executive session 4:30, regular session at 7 o'clock. Please call the meeting to order.
Let the minutes reflect that adequate notice of the holding of this regular meeting of the Howell Township Council was provided for in the following manner: by the posting of a copy of said notice upon the bulletin board in the Township Municipal Building on May 21st, 2021, by the emailing of a copy of said notice to the Asbury Park Press, Tri-Town News, and Star Ledger for information and publication on May 21st, 2021, by the filing of a copy of said form of notice in the Township Clerk's office on May 21st, 2021. The meeting time change notice was posted, emailed, and filed on June 11th, 2021. The public will be allowed to attend and will be allowed to participate pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Law. The public is reminded that civility and decorum will be maintained during the meeting. Any contracts awarded at this meeting or between now and the next meeting will be required to comply with the requirements of Public Law 1975, Chapter 127, NJAC 17:27. In accordance with the Fire Prevention Code, be advised that this facility is designed with emergency exits for your safety. Upon exiting the meeting room, the exits are to your left and right. Smoking is not permitted in the municipal building. Please take note that this meeting is being videotaped for possible future broadcast on Howell Television.
Roll call?
Attendance roll call. Councilman Bonovich is absent this evening.
Yes.
Councilwoman O'Donnell.
Here.
Councilwoman Richmond.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Russo.
Here.
Mayor Berger.
Present. Is there any reason for us to go into executive session this evening?
Yes, Mayor. We have a number of items. Under personnel, we have interviews for candidates for municipal clerk. Attorney-client privilege, we have ordinance O-21-13 and the social media policy to discuss. And then under litigation, we have an update to the Colell case.
Okay. So then at this point, I would like to close this portion of the meeting at 4:35.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
I'll second.
Thank you. Oh, roll call.
Roll call. Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy
was
Mayor
just too
Russo?
easy.
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes, ma'am. So I would like to open the meeting. It is 7:03, and I would like to open the meeting. We've just finished an executive session. So the executive session minutes from tonight's meeting can be disclosed to the public when the need for confidentiality no longer exists. At this time, I would like to stand for this Pledge of Allegiance and also a moment of silence for all of the fallen soldiers, people who have passed this year. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
May I have a motion to adopt the meetings from May 25th, 2021?
I'll make a motion to adopt the minutes of May 25th, 2021.
I'll second.
Roll call. Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes. At this time, I have some reports for the township officials. So I'll start, just a couple of reminders. There are graduations occurring this week and next week. So Middle School North is on the 17th, Middle School South is on the 16th. Colts Neck is on the 24th, as well as Freehold High, Freehold Township, Howell, Manalapan, and Marlboro. So they're all on the 24th, but at different times. Father's Day is the 20th, Juneteenth is the June 19th, and summer starts June 21st. So I just wanted to give everybody like all of that really good information. It's like just fun stuff, nothing that's anything. I wanted to remind everyone that we do have an Eagle Scout who has a very ambitious project, and he wants to move the memorials to Soldier Memorial Field. And so he has, I believe he has his website, and you can go on and you can buy a brick and you can put your family's name or loved one's name. It's really a beautiful project when complete, and, you know, I give him kudos for trying to do this. I think it's a wonderful thing. I do have to say that I did ask for a resolution to be put on the agenda, but unfortunately, it was not put on. But I just I feel I need to say how I feel about the following issue. So Serena DeMasso is a Republican Assemblywoman who obviously is in Monmouth County. She presented a bill that would prevent county constitutional officers from serving as chair of the county political party. So Teresa Berger, as mayor, as a Democratic mayor, stand with her in a bipartisan way to try and stop all the things that don't always pass the smell test. So I stand with her, and I hope that others support her as well. At that, I will go with Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. So before I go into my updates and my reports, I just want to say that, you know, this is not the place for political shots. Sheriff Golden is a man of integrity. He's
I
sheriff.
didn't mention anyone's names.
But it's not a place for it, and I just want to say that he's not only recognized at the state level for his great work and good deeds, but also at the national level.
I also did say bipartisan.
No, I'm saying, just wanted to. As far as my updates, Restaurant Week, so myself and other members of the Business Recovery Task Force were actually on the phones last night, making calls to local businesses. This is an idea that came out of the Business Recovery Task Force. Matt Howard led the charge on this. It's going to be from July 30th to August 8th. Looking forward to that. As far as the Shop Local contest, that's being put on by the Chamber of Commerce. That actually started today, and it runs until July 31st. It's a great initiative. It's a $1,000 prize. You collect your receipts. You shop local, and how really helps our local businesses. The Shop Local property tax program that we discussed months back, I'd like to start that discussion, not at this moment, but in the future. Really want to start that up again. I think that we're in a good spot right now where it would really take off. I think it'd be a great thing. As far as, and this is just generally speaking, fundraisers, there are so many great causes out there in town right now, whether it's support for our fire, EMT, police. There was a few military fundraisers out there I saw. Obviously, we have Brandon and Eagle Scout and his project. If you can support any of these, I ask you to please support them. I know we all on our Facebook pages try to get this information out there as best we can. I'm going to continue to do that. So if you have any questions about a fundraiser going on for any local cause, you can always reach out to any of us. We'll be happy to point you in the right direction. Thank you.
Councilwoman O'Donnell.
Thank you. As the mayor had discussed about the Eagle Scout project that's ongoing, I think she said that it was on the website, the flyer. However, it's on the Howell website. So if anyone's interested,
Well, he has an email address.
okay, and it's also, I mean,
On
should they
Howell
not,
website.
yeah, should they
Yeah.
not have that flyer, please feel free to go to the Howell Township website. I am asking the council to endorse a proclamation that I would like to have available at the next meeting for Mr. Paul Schneider, who has served over 50 years in our community, is no longer serving. He has been ill. However, I would like to do a proclamation for him, invite his family at the next meeting, and hopefully if he's up to it, he could attend. So if the council would also agree, I would like to do that for the next meeting.
Absolutely.
100%.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Also, I'd spoken to the manager on many, many occasions about dangerous trees in Howell Township. And the manager is now prepared to go forward with an allotment of money to deal with dangerous trees and either removing or trimming. So I'm very happy that we've been able to get to that point in an effort to keep everybody in Howell safe. Also, the Howell Township Historical and Society, as you all know, with the McKenzie Building, they had a yard sale last weekend, which was very successful. But they've done a tremendous job in trying to refurbish this building that was nearly lost. I was nearly bulldozed down. So I'm so happy that this has occurred. But if it's possible, I'd like to see them maybe come to a meeting and do maybe a 5 or 10 minute presentation on how far they've gone, what they've done to our building. And I know that it's an ongoing project, but they've done an unbelievable amount of work so far, have raised an unbelievable amount of money. So if we could, would it be possible? And would the council, indulge me in having them come?
Sure.
So perhaps we could do that at the July or the August meeting, whatever works out for our.
How much money did they raise?
Totally, over 15,000 was the last I saw.
How did they do it?
They'd gotten grants.
Right.
Some of it was yard sales. They sold calendars. What else did I buy? T-shirts. And they just have the group in themselves are very hands-on. They really do a lot of their own work. They've been able to talk to people in the community and outside of the community, have gotten some work at a discounted price. Their whole heart is in this, and I'll be forever grateful for them stepping in.
I have a question. Mr. Clark, can this be added, if they choose so, to the farmer's market? Like for donations towards,
I think they've been at the farmer's market.
have they? Okay,
Yeah,
I
so,
didn't know that.
yeah,
They
I
had a
think they have.
table once or twice.
Okay.
Yeah. Secondly, speaking of the farmer's market, one of the farmers that takes part of this, Mrs. Elaine Taylor, who also chairs our preservation committee. My condolences, she lost her mother, so I've known Elaine a long time. I'm very sorry. And just as important to me was Flag Day yesterday. The Asbury Park Press put out information about Flag Day. And, I've substituted in a couple of classrooms in June. And I remember as a child, we used to actually make the flags, and teachers spoke about the flags, and patriotism was endorsed at all levels. So I would just ask people, if Flag Day wasn't, if your child didn't come home from school or make a flag on a piece of paper, if you could just take a moment to explain to your children the true symbol of the country. Sometimes I think it's a lost art, so thank you for indulging me. And that's it.
Councilwoman?
Yes, thank you. I'm happy to report that our senior center has reopened, finally. I've been seeing a lot of the pictures. Melanie Decker and her staff done amazing work before opening during the pandemic, keeping our seniors happy. And they're opening up little by little. They did some bingo and stuff like that. So thank you to Melanie and her staff for that. June 5th was our Hooked on Fishing, Not on Drugs event. Thanks to everyone who participated. I wasn't there, but it looked like a great event. And Krista Riddle and Stephen Fetcher worked to get that done. That was a nice little idea to do. And June 26th and 27th in Echo Lake, there is a field day for the Ocean Monmouth Amateur Radio Club. Is that correct, Mr. Clark, right, manager? Yes? Okay, well, there's a flyer out. I know we sent it out. They'll be there. I've never heard of it before, but it looks pretty interesting, and
Every year.
Every year. I've never heard of it before, but okay. I'd like to congratulate the 4 new township police officers that were just recently sworn in last week. I saw Chief Kudrick put out a little video and introduce them to us, and I'm excited for them to join our amazing police department. Also, speaking of the police, they just did the Howell police officers partly ran the 2021 Special Olympics torch run. God bless them. I would never be able to do that down Route 9. So thank you for that. And then I wanted to ask the council and our manager about doing a newsletter through our Civic Plus. I know our Civic Plus has that capability. I think it'd be nice to do maybe Mayor's Corner, some events that are going on, and maybe put a newsletter out so the residents can not just always have to turn to Facebook, but they could use our newsletter, and the information comes from us.
What's wrong with the deputy mayor's corner?
Maybe a little, maybe. Yes, and a deputy mayor, and a councilwoman, and a manager corner, and but if we can look at that, I know that Civics Plus has the accessibility to do that, and I think it'd be great for the residents who really aren't on social media and look for a newspaper or something like that, but from us as the council, so we can maybe put our reports or something in there if we can look in that. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Gee?
Yes. First thing, Mayor, we had originally scheduled the cannabis ordinance for tonight's agenda. You'll note it is on there. There is a recommendation that the governing body table that to carry it to the next meeting. We are putting it before the planning board, and they have not had a chance to review it yet. So that recommendation, when that comes up on the agenda, the governing body could consider tabling that till the next meeting. As a quick follow-up, a few of you commented on the Eagle Scout project. I think it's also important to note that he did solicit feedback from some of the veterans groups, and it is being supported by them as well. Which I think is important to mention because it's going to put it in a better location for better visibility and that kind of thing.
And actually, I'm sorry to cut you off, Brian, but he actually solicited their advice or their recommendation prior to even,
Yes.
I think, bringing it to the entire council's attention.
Yes,
So that was
that's
done.
correct. Yep. Okay. Getting into some of the regular business, some road paving updates. Howell Road has been milled and paved in May from Vanderveer to Route 33 Business. Lanes Mill Road is scheduled to be milled and paved from Maxim Southard to Lanes Pond starting in mid-July. Paving's continuing through Candlewood Subdivision with Stockport Way, Westbrook Road, Westbrook Circle, scheduled for the end of June, and then Darien Road, Newport Drive, and Chestnut Hill Road were repaved in May. Remainder of Preventorium and Old Tavern Road are scheduled to be repaved the week of July 12th. There'll be limited access to Oakland Park that week from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. T&M has about 95% completed design plans for Hilltop Road, a portion of Birdsall Road, and a portion of Newton's Corner Road south of Allenwood Lakewood. So that will be part of this year's capital budget to continue that work. On the DPW front, bulk pickup is ongoing. Brush pickup, they completed their second pass on June 9th. And since the last meeting, they've filled over 205 potholes. 10 resident complaints regarding those potholes, and they're continuing with open space and roadside mowing at this point. Additionally, the last few days, they've undertaken the large task. The vacant space that we have downstairs, we have a tenant that will be looking to occupy all of the available space. You'll see that resolution on tonight's agenda as well. There was a lot of old office equipment that has been down there that they've been working to clean out in anticipation of this tenant moving in. So they've been quite busy.
When will they be moving in?
Assuming it passes tonight, I think they might be looking to do as soon as possible.
Oh,
Like
wow.
Possibly.
Excellent.
They've already had contractors in and painting, flooring, that kind of thing. They are going to be making some improvements to the building as well, adding bathrooms for their use.
Who is it?
It's a healthcare staffing agency. So they provide nurse staffing to facilities.
That's great.
They're consolidating locations. They have locations here in Howell already and one in New York City, and they're consolidating their business operations to here.
Awesome.
So, good revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to just mention, could you talk about Howell Day?
Very preliminary plans
Yeah,
so
just
far.
preliminarily.
The tentative date is, hold on just a moment. Whoops.
The 21st, I think?
September 25th,
Fifth.
Saturday, September 25th. We are not doing a rain date, so should be rain or shine. It'll be similar to 2 years ago, where it'll start a little bit later in the afternoon, about 3 o'clock, and concluding with a fireworks show.
Very good. So if anybody's interested in joining, they need to contact Stephen Fletcher, right?
That's right, yes. He'll be putting some information out shortly. We've had one meeting so far. There'll be more that we'll have staff involved with as it evolves.
A
So
lot of people have been asking,
Oh,
are we
okay.
having it, are we having it? And I keep saying,
Yes, we
yes,
are.
I just wanted you to,
yes, we are.
throw it out there.
September 25th, and more information to follow.
excellent, thank you.
You're welcome. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Mayor, may I, while the manager's still going on, I have something to ask him, if you don't mind. Can you just give us an update and I'm doing this on behalf of Mr. Bonovich, because I know if he was here, he'd say it. The bulk pickup, I know you had sent us out, the governing body, an email with
Yes.
some options, and
I
can you just...
circulated that to
Yep.
everyone. I'm awaiting some feedback from some of you. I heard back from Mr. Bonovich. I had Paul Novello research it, various costs and options that we could accommodate, broadening our bulk pickup and/or drop-off. All of them obviously come with a significant expense, so since our budget's passed, we need to figure out how to move some money around to accommodate whichever option. But if each of you could reply to that email, just, as to which plan you would support or be in
Okay.
favor of.
And then the American Rescue money, can we just do a quick little preview on where we are with that and what
Sure.
our intentions are up here and what your intentions are?
So we have, the latest number we've gotten was 4.9 million, which is down significantly from the original 9 million that we were supposed to get. Of that 4.9, we've received about half right so far, 2.4. It was deposited into a Howell account about 2 weeks ago. I have again solicited feedback from the governing body, which direction you want to go. I am going to send over some other suggestions and ideas that Matt Howard from Community Development has compiled. That'll probably be going out tomorrow morning. The most popular ones are expanding our paving program because our roads badly need it, and also coming up with some type of grant program to support our businesses. They seem to be the most popular ones. Getting back to the money, we've received half of it so far. We're supposed to receive the additional half 12 months from now. And the state just released their local finance notice, so their spin on it just recently. So we're making sure everything we're looking to do complies with that. I would suggest that once the governing body is, deciding what they want to, which direction they want to go, I would ask that we pass a resolution supporting that, just so it's well documented into the future that, this is what we wanted to do with it.
So prior to the resolution, would you be able to give us a presentation? I had asked you
Yes, yeah,
to show the governing body what our options are and the guidelines and the public as well?
Sure, I could have that for our next regular scheduled meeting, if that's
Perfect.
acceptable.
Perfect, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, ma'am.
Regular, you mean July, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Regular, yes, thank you.
all.
Mr. Clark?
Nothing other than what was in exec, but I'll just, to amplify in the American Rescue Plan, there was a preliminary rule passed recently, and they're still taking comments on it that offers guidance as to the uses to which the money can be put. So that's one of the documents that we're looking over to ensure that where we want to deploy it is an area where it can be.
Thank you. Next, I have a proclamation. So June is Pride Month. So whereas LGBTQIA+ Pride Month is currently celebrated each year in the month of June as a tribute to those who were involved in the 1969 Stonewall Uprising in Manhattan, and whereas the Stonewall Uprising was a tipping point for the gay liberation movement in the United States. In the United States, the last Sunday in June was initially celebrated as Gay Pride Day, but the day soon grew to encompass a month-long series of events. Whereas the first Pride March in New York was held on June 28, 1970, on one-year anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising. And whereas since 1970, the LGBTQIA+ population have continued to gather together in June to march with pride and demonstrate for equal rights. Celebrations include parades, picnics, parties, workshops, symposia, concerts, and the LGBTQIA+ Pride Month events attract millions of participants around the world. Whereas memorials are held during this month for those members of the community who have been lost to hate crimes, HIV, or AIDS. Whereas the purpose of commemorative month is to recognize the impact that the LGBTQIA+ individuals have had a history locally, nationally, and internationally. Now therefore I be resolved that Teresa Berger, Mayor of the Township of Howell, on behalf of the Township Council, do hereby recognize the month of June 2021 as the LGBTQIA+ Pride Month and commend its observance to all its citizens. And to everyone out there who is celebrating Pride, enjoy your month. And to Zachary, enjoy your month. we love and we support you. At this time, I would like to have the hearing of citizens for town business and agenda resolutions. Ms. Barbara Dixell?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Barbara Dixell, Howell Township.
Good evening.
Okay. Resolution, R21 dash 2197, I think. I'm having a hard time with this. Guild Petroleum. Why does this resolution say zoning board? They are at the planning board. In 2009, they started at the zoning board. I've fought this thing. I have fought Guild Petroleum since 2009, when they had the leak in 2005, and it took them till 2009 to figure out to tell the villages. The gasoline went into the water, into the soil and groundwater, and it's still contaminated. There is a still contaminated well, number 2, and it's still contaminated. I don't know how they're ever going to open this thing, but it's still contaminated. But why is this resolution saying zoning board? They are at the planning board because they added a convenience store. So does anybody have any ideas to tell me what's going on?
If I might.
Please.
This particular resolution, Mrs. Dixell, is just a matter of returning unused escrow money to the zoning board when, in fact, that project had gone to the zoning board. It doesn't deal with any of the specifics of the project, only the cash. That's to be returned to them.
Okay, now there's still an open case at the zoning board, just so that you know. It has not closed. There's an open case. And I don't know why they're going to return money to them, because they really need to be heard, or by a joint board or whatever. They are at the planning board only because of the convenience store. It seems that every gas station in the world now is pumping gas and selling food. So, they are still at the zoning board. I don't know why they're returning money. Okay, R21, could somebody explain that? R21,
The last 3 numbers?
yes,
okay?
oh, God. The last one on the page.
202.
Which page,
But
Barbara?
I was just on the same page, let me see,
202.
202.
Mayor, that's regarding the lease for the downstairs office space. Because of the public bidding laws, we're being a government entity, we had to put the lease out to bid. So this is basically just the governing bodies accepting that lease.
Okay,
Unfortunately, we can't be like a regular landlord.
okay, dangerous trees. Yeah, we've got a lot. I can tell you, Mrs. O'Donnell, up Casino Drive, you know, there are monsters, and I mean huge, things that go like this across the road, and some of these branches weigh hundreds of pounds, and if one lets go, it's going to take out a car and kill somebody. So if you guys are planning on doing any cleanup of dangerous trees, please go up Casino Drive. Go up Casino Drive, the block of 25, Casino, and go up that block and look at these things that go totally across, and they're over the wires. They're over every set of wires on Casino, because Jerry and I go up there all the time to the senior center, and we look. Please mark it down. Very dangerous. Maybe the county can help you out, but boy, this stuff, massive, massive branches that cover the roadway. Okay. R21-209. Shared services agreement, can you tell me about that? And why are we having shared services agreement for a financial officer? Don't we have our own financial officer? Or who's going to work for 2 towns?
Shrewsbury does not have one. They will be paying Howell Township for the services of our CFO and tax collector.
Okay, well, I would hope that our CFO and tax collector are not going to give them a lot of time when they have their job here to do their job here. I don't care what they're going to pay us. We pay them to work here. You either work here or you work there. Let them go hire their own.
Barbara, I've seen Lou in action, and he's awesome. And if he can commit to doing the shared service and his team, I trust him.
I don't want the citizens of Howell to lose out
They won't.
because you're going to go
They won't.
between two townships.
Well, obviously, Barbara, if that's what Brian found moving forward, he could always change the agreement. But I believe that there was an assessment completed, and the thought process is that we could handle it. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct, Mayor.
Okay, and
Excuse me, it's been 5 minutes.
Barbara, are you almost complete?
yeah, I have, yeah, I'm going on agenda items. I'm not
Okay.
going on anything else. This is purely agenda items.
Okay,
R21-210, or I have to wait until you do a separate vote on that.
I'll make a motion to allow Ms. Dixell additional time.
No, just fine, tell me what it is.
Oh, no, I'm giving you more time.
well, we're giving you more time.
Thank you.
All right,
Okay,
that's fine.
and to be tabled, okay, June 13th, I understand. And I guess introduction, no, that's, okay, no, all right, I guess I can, all right, let me see what this is. Again, this is 021-14. Whose salaries are being, does this include the council
This is the
salary?
ordinances. So at this point, we didn't
Okay.
get to that part yet.
Okay, I'll get up then, fine, that's fine, very good. Okay, that's good, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just very specifically, for safety of Howell residents and anybody else who drives up, especially Casino, if you go up there, please look, these massive branches, they're over all the wires. The wires come down, no one's gonna have electric service or lights or anything else. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Barbara.
So there is no one else that is on the list. Is there anyone that would like to come up?
Are we going back to name and address, or are we going just with names? What's the rule now? Name and address, we're going to keep with that. Tina Smilek, 33 Charles Street. Quick to start, I agree with not adding a resolution last minute, but I also stand with you and Serena. I just wish Serena would have took it a step farther. I don't think I don't think this is political at all, because both sides take this for granted, and I think that anybody who is a politician should stand behind it, and the impropriety of any chairman, and a high regard also carrying a political role. It just looks, the impropriety of it just does not look good, and I would hope you would all stand against not just what Serena is, but take it a step further for anyone. So, and it should be definitely nonpartisan, but I didn't get that that's political. The gun one, I thought was political. This, I don't think is political. Can we get an engineering report again, by any chance? I heard all those road things, but it's hard to, is it possible to get an engineering report? Those were great. As far as the newsletter, we've done newsletters. It just stopped about 2 or 3 years ago. They used to be done quarterly. They were absolutely great, and I'm glad you asked for them back, because they should be brought back. There was a lot of information in them. Okay, to the shared service, the R21-209, they're already listed on Shrewsbury as being So is this a done deal already?
Shrewsbury had to pass it on their end first.
Okay. So my problem here is, I understand, I think Lou does a great job. My problem here is that we're paying $35,000 for an efficiency study to the township. And now we are adding more to our township employees without even having the results of this efficiency study, which in 2005, we did an efficiency study for $75,000, and we still haven't seen anything from that from 2005, and I would hope that any of you, please ask for a copy of that while you're waiting to get the new one done. But if we do not have an efficiency study, how do we know, I mean, if we can't even say, if our professionals that are here now can't say that we are efficient enough to run this place without having a professional service come in and tell us how, why are we expanding? Why are we just wait until this settles and find out where we are? Do we have too many people? Do we have not enough people? It's 90,000. I also think that this resolution should include the actual shared service agreement, because what you're voting on here does not, it's open-ended. So I would like to see your resolution include the actual, I would like you to include the actual shared service agreement in that. Also, that goes, I'm going to think that goes with ordinance. It's only an intro tonight that is for shared service between 500 and 30,000. I think that shared service agreement should also say how much we are paying each person and what those person in return is getting paid, because this new intro ordinance is you're giving up the right to say, you know, is that too much? Is that not enough? You don't know who's getting paid what. And I've looked at the billing from the Colts Neck shared service agreements, and we don't even follow the proper procedures on that. I've asked this every time, has anybody looked at all these shared services? At the end of the year, you should be asked for a report maybe, shared service, have we made money, have we not made money? How are these working for us, so next time it comes before us that we have something to go by when we're making a decision.
I think that's a very good takeaway.
So I would just like to see more substance in all this stuff, so it protects you, it protects the residents, it protects Shrewsbury. We're all in this together. I think shared service is a great thing. It can do a lot for both sides. I would just like to see more input and more background done on them before you vote on them. I'd like to see where we are. 90,000, it sounds like it's okay for 6 to 8 hours. Is somebody keeping track of that 6 to 8 hours? Like, do they have to punch a clock and do, at the end of the year, do we get how many hours did they actually do so we can properly address how much we spent?
That's a maximum of 6 to 8 hours, but yes, we are going to track that.
Okay. Yeah, I just think it's good so we know at the end.
Most of their work is going to be conducted from their offices here.
Okay.
We're creating a remote access system, but for the sake of putting a number in for office hours, it's 6 to 8 hours amongst both positions.
Yeah, I would just say, you know, after the first year, if maybe council, I'd like to see it, but if council would like to see it,
No, I think that's a great takeaway.
how much did you spend on it? And, you know, shared services are great things as long as we know what we're getting into and how much we're making from it. So, and again, that intro, I would just like to see that spread out more as to 300 to 30,000 or 500 to 30,000 seems like an awful big spread with you not having any decision-making power in this. It's like you're giving your decision-making power up to, I mean, who makes the decision then, who gets that stipend and how much that stipend is?
Excuse me, it's been 5 minutes.
So, I think I'm done. Oh, can I just have a couple more minutes? I just have one more thing.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to allow.
Um,
We've been pretty lenient today, right?
Yeah, that's okay. I'll second that, I guess. I'll second, sure.
I want to thank our manager for posting the master plan subcommittee. It's great to, and I hope that each one of you watch it because it was very eye-opening to watch. I wanted to know if council knew that only 15 to 20 roads is going to be picked for this circulation study. It's not a full plan, it's only like 15 to 20 roads. And of those 15 to 20 roads, only the few master plan subcommittee board members are going to pick which roads. Jen Beam said that it was better that residents pick it than her because she doesn't live in town and residents know better. I would like to see this opened it up to at least, even if they pick roads, to pick multiple roads and have maybe a meeting or something with, that involves the public so they can see which roads are being, and put their input in. Because I think this is a very big step to take. They also said that they were going to this was going to cause them to do rezoning buffers and all that. So I would just like to say, please pay attention to this recirculation study. If there's 15 to 20 roads, they've already mentioned West Farms and Oak Glen being 2 of them. Can we please get the public involved? Because I don't know how it's going to affect us, but at least if we should have some say, I would like to have, if we could
Mr.
have a meeting.
Geoghegan, can we have a special meeting for that?
Yeah, that would most likely go through the planning board, so.
The subcommittee meetings are open to the public, all the planning board meetings where it will eventually be discussed. If we get to the point where the circulation elements kind of come into kick-up stage where we're starting the actual studies, we can talk about a special meeting and get the public input through that way too.
Thank you. I'd just like to see some public input.
So Thursday, there's a planning board, and as a Class 3 on the planning board, I will absolutely bring it up during whatever time I have up there.
Okay.
If Jen is there, I will talk to her, and I'll mention, and I'll give you guys some feedback
Yeah,
after.
even if they come up with like 30 roads maybe, and then they have to and let the public have some
Yep, I'll bring it up to
say in
her
it.
on
So
Thursday.
that would be
Yep.
very much appreciated, and that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I have one quick question, Brian, about the shared service agreements, 3-year agreement, right?
That's correct.
3, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And can we opt out at that at any time, or
There is a cancellation kick-out clause in it.
based on,
90-day out,
I believe it's 60.
60-day out?
Either party can cancel with 60 days notice.
either, okay, and after that, we're stuck for the 3 years?
No.
Oh,
Anytime.
I'm
We
sorry.
just have to
Oh,
give
yeah,
60
but,
days
yeah,
notice.
60 days,
So
I'm sorry, I
contract is
misunderstood,
3 years long?
I gotcha, okay, gotcha. So we
As long
can,
as you give
if
notice.
it's not working for us, obviously, and we realize that it's too much work for Lou or whatever, we can opt out.
Right.
Okay.
I'm going to ask, is there anyone else that would like to come up? Okay, so then I'm going to close this portion.
Excuse me, Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
If I might. In terms of the resolution that is not on the agenda tonight, I realize that part of that, because I read some of the articles in the newspaper, was a concern about too much power in one area. And so I did a little bit of investigating, and unfortunately, I found out something that was even more disturbing to me, that in North Jersey, we actually have senators that are mayors. So I think that this might be a huge, it's not just localized. There's other things that happen. So I don't know that anything disproportionately or anything that's unethical is done. I'm not the legal department, I don't watch that, but I just think that honing in on just one area of local government, it's just, that's not fair. There's an entire state to look at. So I'm glad we didn't do the
And
resolution.
For me, I think
because,
that we should look at the whole state.
well,
That's
if
just my
somebody
opinion.
wants to go further with that, that's not our place.
Understood,
but-
I just,
Yeah,
And
so-
I'd like to elaborate on that too, because nearly 1/3 of New Jersey lawmakers hold elected officials. My hometown, where I was born and raised, the mayor is the senator, used to be the superintendent of the schools. He held 3 offices.
At
That
one
happens a
time?
lot up in North Jersey, where I'm from, Hudson County. So if people want to start nitpicking at, here in Howell or Monmouth County, they have to open up a broader, spectrum of that, because it's everywhere. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying we're only talking here with Serena, with Monmouth County, and obviously finger pointing at our sheriff and our chairman. But again, I can go on and name 15 politicians who are holding multiple jobs. So it's a can of worms. I'm not quite sure that we all want to start here in Howell, that's for sure.
okay. At this point, may I have a motion for the consent agenda? I do not believe, I have nothing to pull out.
You don't have to do anything for votes or whatever?
Not for the.
There
not
are a
have-
few that are
not for
listed
this.
separately that require 4 votes for adoption, but they are already listed separately.
They're separately, yeah.
I would make a motion to pass R21190, inclusive of R21209.
I'll second.
Roll call, Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes. At this point, we are going to vote individually on these following resolutions. R21-210, providing for the insertion of a special item of revenue in the 2021 budget of the Township of Howell pursuant to NJSA 40A semicolon 4/87, Chapter 159, PL 1948, close paren, Clean Committees Grant. Would you like to
If I can
elaborate?
comment, Mayor, just so you're aware, this resolution and the next two, the reason they're on for separate votes, they require a minimum of 4 votes to pass because it is modifying the budget that the council has already adopted. That's the only reason. There was no conflicts or anything, but generally, we pull them out for a separate vote for that reason.
So, may we have a roll call?
May I have a motion to adopt Resolution R21-210?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt R21-210.
I'll second.
Roll call, Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes. Resolution 21-211, providing for the insertion of a special item of revenue in the 2021 budget of the Township of Howell pursuant to NJSA 40A semicolon 4/87, Chapter 159, PL 1948, Shared Services Agreement, Borough of Shrewsbury.
I would make a motion to approve R21-211.
I'll second.
Roll call, Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes. Resolution R21-212, providing for the insertion of a special item of revenue in the 2021 budget of the Township of Howell pursuant to NJSA 40A semicolon 4/87, Chapter 159, PL 148, Body Worn Camera Program Grant.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt R21-212.
May I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes. Ordinance. Yeah. We're going on to the ordinance now, and so we have open public hearing for the ordinance 0-21-12 through -16.
Ordinance 21-12, an ordinance of the Township of Howell amending Chapter 188-84.2 entitled Moderate and Low-Income Housing Zone 12, ML12 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Howell. Ordinance number 021-12, introduced and passed on first reading on 5/11/21 and published according to law, is now being taken up for further consideration and public hearing. Affidavit of publication of this ordinance in the Asbury Park Press issue of 5/11/21 is submitted, and it is noted that a copy of the ordinance has been posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and that copies were available to the general public upon request.
I would like to open the public hearing for this ordinance.
Tina Smilek, 33 Charles Street. I just trying to understand it. 6-foot setback, what is that from? Is that from a 6-foot setback from the road? Is that 6 foot from another building? Is that, what,
So the ordinance that was passed was a little ambiguous. The terminology used was there was a setback to the face of the building. It was a little ambiguous whether the face of the building meant the front of the building only, the side of the building. So this is creating a 6-foot side yard setback for the sides of the building to internal streets within the development. It's not changing any major aspect of the development, actually. It's not changing the plan at all. It's just providing a little bit more clarity as to what was meant by the face of the building versus the setback to the internal street.
why 6 foot? 6 foot to a parking lot, 6 foot to an internal roadway, 6 foot to anything is not much room. And if there's kids out there playing, I just have a problem with 6 foot. I don't think that's enough. I mean, even 6 foot from another building, 6 foot from a parking spot, 6 foot, I mean, 6 foot is probably the size, you're probably close to 6 foot. So it doesn't seem like a lot of, and it doesn't seem like a safe distance for me if kids are outside playing or if there's something going on.
This is the actual, the instance that this occurs is the side of the buildings. It's not the rear or the front. So this would only be from the side of the building to the roadway or parking lot, and it's where that building happens to be on an internal street on a corner.
But that's still very close. Kids are walking, people are walking, somebody runs the curb. You know, I just don't think 6 foot is enough. What is the normal, what is the normal side?
In other zoning, side yard setbacks range from as low as 6 feet up to 30.
So other places have low as 6 feet?
Yes. R50 zone.
I'm saying we're putting a lot of people in this zone, and you're gonna have a lot of cars in this zone, and I don't think 6 feet is just enough room for a safety issue, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm just saying in my opinion. I'm not a professional. I have no educational background in this. Of course, your professionals know better than I do. I just don't think 6 feet from the road or any cars is a safe distance, and I think that is very questionable. So you're dealing with safety. I mean, your families, kids. So another house, it just, how much on top of each other are we going to make these things? Can we at least keep some distance and some privacy in there and some, I would say keep it the same, keep it at least, you know, what it was, 15 feet. I would keep them that way all the way around. That's just my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Okay, so that I would like to close this public portion of the hearing.
May I have a motion that ordinance number O-2112 be finally passed and adopted, and that notice of its passage and adoption be published in the 6/18/21 issue of the Asbury Park Press by reference to its title only?
I'll make a motion to approve R-21-212.
Second.
I'll second.
Excuse me, just to clarify, this is
I'm sorry.
O-21-12?
I'm
that
so
we're speaking
sorry.
on?
Let me
Just wanted to
amend-
make sure it was for the right.
A correction, yeah, I'm reading, yes, I'm sorry, my apologies. A motion to accept 02112.
I'll second.
Roll call, Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
I just have a quick question for Matt. Matt, you know, you're the professional, you know, I'm not. Is this going to pose any safety issues in your opinion?
The setback's only for the multifamily buildings and it's not for the single-family residential buildings. So there's still a very generous rear yard and front yard to these buildings. This is the actual approval that was given when the ordinance was considered. It's
Right.
just cleaning up the language.
And
So
okay.
the plan that was presented showed the buildings in these locations. There is no change to that. It's just really clarifying the language.
Okay.
Okay. Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
No. The motion, excuse me, ordinance 0-21-13 is tabled. I'm just repeating that.
We would most likely need a motion in a second.
Motion to table.
Motion to table.
Correct.
May I have a motion to table ordinance number O-2113 until the Howell Township Council meeting of July 13th, 2021?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Roll call, Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes. Ordinance numbers 0-21-14. I would like to open this portion of the hearing if someone would like to talk about it.
Mayor, if I may read the title and the
Yes,
statement
please,
in the
while
meantime?
Barbara gets up.
Ordinance O-1214, an ordinance setting forth and amending and supplementing the salary range schedule for the salaries of certain officers and employees of the Township of Howell, SOA. Ordinance number O-2114 was introduced and passed on first reading on 5/25/21 and published according to law, is now being taken up for further consideration and public hearing. Affidavit of publication of this ordinance in the Asbury Park Press issue of 5/28/21 is submitted, and it is noted that a copy of the ordinance has been posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and that copies were available to the general public upon request.
Thank you.
Mayor, just to clarify a point of this, the SOA is Superior Officers Association, so these are the supervisory police officers whose contract was recently settled by the governing body. So this is the pursuant salary ordinance related to that.
Thank you.
Superior officers, just the supervisors.
So this, you're good?
62A Piazza Vittoria, Freehold, New Jersey. I'm okay with this.
Okay, thank you. So then I would like to close this portion of the public hearing. Maybe have a motion?
May I have a motion that ordinance number O-2114 be finally passed and adopted, and that notice of its passage and adoption be published in the 6/18/21 issue of the Asbury Park Press by reference to its title only?
A motion to approve 0-21-14.
I'll second.
Roll call, Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes.
Thank you.
Actually, I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry, I'm changing my vote. Ordinance number 0-21-16.
We need 15 first.
We did 15.
No.
No.
15's the sidewalks.
So wait a second, I'm sorry, just. 21-14 was yes. I'm very sorry.
Okay.
I was reading 15.
Okay. So for introduction of ordinances, we have O-2115. May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number O-2115 on first reading by title and to order the same to be published in the 6/18/21 issue of the Asbury Park Press, together with notice of its introduction and passage on first reading by title, and that it will be further considered for final passage after public hearing at a meeting of the Township Council to be held on 7/13/21 at 7 p.m. prevailing time in the municipal building, 4567 Route 9 North, Howell, New Jersey. O-2115, an ordinance of the Township of Howell amending Chapter 188, Land Use, Article 14, Residential Design Standards, Section 132, Sidewalks of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Howell.
I'll make a motion to introduce 0-2115.
Before I make a second, Mayor, if I may, Mr. Howard, would you please just let the public know what we're doing here and why we're doing this ordinance? Thank you.
Sure. As many people probably know, we used to have a sidewalk ordinance and a fund we created a couple years ago. It was in use for a few months. What this means is that as developments are approved, either sidewalk is required by the approving board to be installed if the board feels that it's not the right area, it doesn't fit into the character of the area, they could grant a waiver. The waiver, though, still required the developer to pay the equivalent cost of sidewalk and give that to the township in a trust fund that we could use elsewhere in town for sidewalk improvements. A lot of areas with falling apart sidewalks, the idea was that now we might have money to rehab those. It was removed by council. Sometimes it takes putting an ordinance into effect, seeing what happens over time, and we recognized that there was a potential issue, maybe where the ordinance, we didn't want to apply as literally as it was stated. The new ordinance mirrors the same language, creates a fund, requires payment, but it gives the board, in the case of a minor subdivision, which is creating 3 residential lots or less, to waive not only the requirement to install sidewalk, but also to pay into the fund, so that the small guy, the person doing very small application, maybe a lot line adjustment, maybe just creating one residential lot, won't have to put in sidewalk if the board feels it's not necessary, and won't have to pay. So that's what the new proposal is for.
So this is a change, though, into what it was before.
Correct.
Because
It is
before,
not the exact-
there was no payment involved, and then there was
Before-
nothing from the developers.
Before, there was no waiver. You had to pay no matter who you were, if it was either build the sidewalk or pay. This, in a certain limited circumstance, which is a minor subdivision, gives the board a chance to say you don't have to pay or install.
But is that specific to people who are living in the town or for the developers themselves? I mean, I think that any developer should have to pay, even if it's a small piece.
The board can still require it. It is up to them to still require it. This only gives them the option to release the payment if they feel it's not necessary.
Again, if I feel that if it's a developer, okay, but if it's a private homeowner, you know, that's where I think the leniency should be, not with the developer.
So, just to make sure I'm clear, because I think I'm with you on this, is that even if it's a subdivision of 3, right, and it's still a developer and it's not a resident building, then that's who should be,
They should still be paying.
they should still be paying.
There should be no leniency,
See,
meaning
yeah,
the
Joe,
board shouldn't have
I don't think
the
you-
ability.
I don't
I'm
think
not
you can
entirely
legally-
sure that we can grind that fine and
Okay.
separate out the classes of developers and people and that. The ordinance allows for a distinction made on the basis of the size of a development, and then from there, it's up to the planning board to weigh the facts before them to decide whether or not they want to grant the waiver.
And most of the time, any subdivision usually is coming in as an LLC. There are instances where it is a private person. We sometimes don't know who's behind the LLC, whether it's a developer per se or just a resident who has an LLC created to protect themselves.
So I'm going to ask the question, I don't even know if you know this, do you know how much money is in that fund now, and have we used that money to repair sidewalks for other residents, or other sidewalks that are being?
I don't have that information off the top of my
Okay.
head. I could get it for you. though.
Please?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay.
And your estimation, I mean, how many developers would build 3 homes versus a larger? Do we have a lot of those types? I mean, in planning, do we have a lot of those? Like,
I haven't
I
seen
mean,
many.
occasionally they come in. It depends on what's available on the market. We've had a couple minor subdivisions come in Freewood Acres with the inclusion of sewer and water. It's opened up some zoning to be able to subdivide, so we've had a couple minor subdivisions there. We have some in different areas, but this would include major subdivisions, so over 3 lots, if you require off-tract improvements, also minor and major site plans. Right now, if there's a major development coming in, retail, commercial, we're not getting money for that if they're not putting sidewalks in. So this is the idea to go all the way up to the big developments and to leave out the little guy if the board feels it's not necessary.
So the intention is to leave out the little guy and money grab from the developers? So I guess it's kind of answering your question in a way.
I don't know if I would call it a money grab.
Well, I'm
What did you
sorry,
say?
I'm
I'm
just saying,
sorry.
I just feel like,
What did you
like.
say?
A money grab, I used the word money grab, I probably shouldn't have, but, I'm just saying that we went out, we went without an ordinance, right? We weren't taking money, or we weren't requiring, people to
Right.
put into the fund for how long? It's been 2 years?
Yeah, roughly that.
No, I think
And
that's
before
fabulous.
Before the ordinance passed, we weren't.
Well, I'm
offering
just
it
saying, when
either.
the planning board came, I think it was the chief, right?
Yes, it was.
And, right, Councilman?
It
And
was.
said, why are we doing this? Let's not do this. So we passed it, or I just want to be clear on this, because we're visiting again, but making some changes. We decided, the governing body, that we were no longer going to have anyone put money into the sidewalk fund, I guess that's what you call it, right? The
Correct,
sidewalk
correct,
fund.
yep.
Now we're saying, okay, we have to build up that fund again, so now we're going to, I guess, am I okay? Can I say that, Mr. Clark?
So we can require payment.
So we
into
can
it.
require payment, I'm sorry, I'm going to write that one down, sorry. So we can require payment from a developer to pay into that fund.
Correct.
That's what this ordinance is doing, so we're kind of going back a little bit on the ordinance that we passed 2 years ago or so.
Correct.
Okay, just wanted to be clear, okay.
So,
Go ahead.
are we changing any of the wording on this?
Yes, and it
Okay,
includes
then.
includes the terminology minor subdivision
Well,
So then shall we table this and wait for the new language?
Oh, I'm sorry.
no, I think
I meant
the way
from-
you're doing it now is.
From the
No,
previous
it's what
ordinance,
I'm
I
looking
changed
at.
wording.
Yeah, I think it's fine the way
Oh.
it is. I just wanted,
Yeah.
I just wanted to be clear on why we did it 2 years ago and what the change now is.
Originally, yeah, I remember this being,
I thought it was the beginning of this year.
I was on planning
Well, we
board
were in
at the time.
COVID, so
this
she was
was
on.
prior
Yeah.
to reorg, but.
Yeah, it was almost 2 years ago.
What the catalyst was one homeowner on Merrick Road being required for a sidewalk. That was the catalyst that the chief of police had suggested at that planning board meeting that we revisit this. And it's interesting in a way because we do have a lot of people that do mother-daughter homes and that type of thing, or they have a lot, they subdivide, and then one of their children build on it. So the idea in my mind and my thinking and in talking to Mr. Howard was that the regular homeowner was able to utilize all of his property without being subject to a sidewalk obligation and finances. So the idea is, and we all know that large strip malls or whatever, they always have sidewalks. Typically, they're on a highway. If we have a community and then a strip mall comes nearby, we even ask for sidewalks that join the two so that people can have easy access to shopping. I think that planning board has always been very sensitive to the safety and different issues with sidewalks. The idea was Merrick Road is a very rural road, and that was actually the catalyst that night. So I just wanted to refresh everybody's memory that this came from planning board as a recommendation through the chief of police, who probably is well aware of the roads and traffic and whatnot.
Right, so this would just enhance the board's discretion.
Great, thank you for clarifying that.
Maybe we have a motion.
Oh, I have to make.
We do have a
there was-
motion.
I didn't second it yet, though.
I thought you-
Okay, I can second that motion.
Roll call, Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes. I'm sorry, and thank you for the explanation, because I thought it was the same thing as before.
No, I listened to the feedback and I understood the change before.
Because I voted no for it before, because I felt that was inappropriate, that they weren't paying anything in. But I mean, if there's a way that we could figure out, if it is a developer doing it and charge something, I think that, just something. It could be a small stipend. It still benefits the town and the people in the town. So, if they're not going to put, that's just my,
Okay.
yeah, okay.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number O-2116 on first reading by title, and to order the same to be published in the 6/18/21 issue of the Asbury Park Press, together with notice of its introduction and passage on first reading by title, and that it will be further considered for final passage after public hearing at a meeting of the Township Council to be held on 7/13/21 at 7 p.m. prevailing time in the municipal building.
You're doing 15, that's 16, you're doing sidewalks.
We did 15
Well,
already.
you didn't open it to the public.
It's just an introduction.
Title of ordinance, an ordinance setting forth and amending and supplementing the salary range schedule for the salaries of certain officers and employees of the Township of Howell, shared services salary.
All right.
May I have a motion to introduce?
A motion to introduce?
I'll second.
Roll call, Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
May I ask a question? So, can we be apprised of the contracted services and the amounts that you're going to be, that you would be,
Sure.
I think that.
This was written broad, so it can be used for future agreements as well. That's why the low number is so low. We have various other services that we might look to pursue that might not be at the same level of a CFO or a tax collector.
Right.
Who would naturally be at the higher end of the scale. But that's the reason for the broad range in this. It's so as we pursue other agreements, we can implement this where it's appropriate.
And you'll share with us that information at that time?
Sure. Yes.
Thank you, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the next scheduled regular council meeting will take place on Tuesday, July 13th, 2021. Executive session is at 6, public is at 7. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Mayor.
May I have a second?
Second?
Roll call, Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes.
Happy Father's Day, everyone, over
Happy
there
Father's Day.
and out there. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, guys.
Enjoy.